The overall theme for this partnership session is feeding the city. In just 1 minute, can each of you give or tell us how your compact is contributing to feeding the city? Abbas, I will start with you on cassava.
Thank you very much. One important thing that we need to do with cassava is to increase the processing of perishable fresh roots to food products that can be eaten in the cities. And this is one focus for us. We have been training factory operators, those who already have processing factories, and they're not doing well. We've been training them on how to increase the processing activities, increase the quality of the products, and then sell to the cities. We have made important, I would say, impact in this area. And that alone is helping in reducing imported food items that city dwellers are consuming. Let me stop there.
Zaudi, how are we doing on wheat?
Yes, apart from increasing productivity and producing surplus, which we have noticed that up to 70% of the wheat produced is being marketed. We worked on forming a women and youth agripreneurs in value addition, which produce local food products, which are sold to local communities and local restaurants in the nearby towns through the association. The second area is aggregating, storage, and logistic, transporting the surplus production directly to the flour millers, where they are supplying flour to the bakeries and pastries in the city, feeding the urban population, linking farmers to markets, where they are directly selling to the flour millers within their target areas, or even transport that to major cities in this context.
Irene, what is the role of capacity development in feeding the city? Very briefly, please.
Yes, I think I'll latch on this market issue, because that's one of the advice we always get in our meetings. And producers tell us that we need to identify the market first, and then the products come later. So I think what I can say is that you need to have the linkage and the market information in both directions to the market, as it were. So what we are doing is ensuring that we use our architect and set of partners to link up all the market chain actors, ensuring that they are able to get the relevant information and build their the market as much as possible, particularly linking the small-scale farmer to mainstream markets. So that's what we are doing and putting in building blocks at this capacity development technology outcome to collaborate with the clearinghouse.
Thank you very much for all these answers. The time we have been waiting for has come. I would like now to hear from our patient and attentive audience. I believe you have been posting your questions and comments on the chat box of this Zoom platform. Thanks to everyone who has participated in doing so. My colleagues have been going through your postings and shall select the first batch of 3 questions that they will read out so that our presenters and panelists can answer. We shall go through another set until our time is exhausted. I will get started by calling on my colleague, Sabra Lewis, to ask the first set of questions, and if possible, indicating who this question is directed to. Sabra. Sabra, are you there?
Yes, hello. Thank you, Dr. Hakim. We have 3 questions ready. The first question is for Dr. Abbas and Dr. Zaudi. The question is, what has TAAT been doing and working with the private sector seed companies, and how has TAAT worked with the Africa Seed Trade Association? The second question is about capacity building for FARA. How is TAAT using digitization to help build capacity of farmers and extensionists across the continent? That question is for Dr. Irene. The third question would be for the keynote speakers. And this is a question on the scaling strategy, theory of change of TAAT. So I would address that to Dr. Martin Fergene and Dr. Innocent Musebiana and Dr. Dashiell. Thank you.
Please, I just appeal, make your answer very brief so that we can have a chance to have as many questions as possible. The seed question, Zaudi, can you go first, please?
Yes, the Wheat Compact is working with private seed companies, public seed companies, and seed producers cooperatives. One clear example I'll give you is in Sudan, wheat seed production was less than 5,000 tons over the last 10 years. But the bringing in the private sector of seed companies in Sudan, today we are being able to produce around 60,000 tons in 2019-20, which is ready for planting for next season. So the work with the private sector, we've been able to produce seed not only even for Sudan, and they are ready even to provide this seed to any country where it would be required. So the Sudan Seed Trade Association, which is a member of Seed Trade Association of Africa, is a part and parcel of this partnership.
Abbas, your quick link with your seed system to the private sector, please.
Correct. Thank you very much. Yes, supply of seed for cassava is still a problem across Africa. And so building the seed system is very vital for us. And we have been working with the private sector, for example, in Tanzania, where we have a teaching-culture laboratory that was interested in the rapid multiplication of cassava. We trained this company, and we also trained national institutions from other countries for them to begin to produce seeds. We have also, in Zambia, established about 58 locations, seed farms, being managed by farmers who we expect at the end of this planting season would then begin to sell these materials to other farmers. And so we want to make some farmers to become seed entrepreneurs. That is the way to build a seed system. And there is a company in Zambia that needs seeds for their farmers. So we want to begin to work with this company through AFDB Zambia office so that we build the seed system for the company as well as other companies that are interested in this approach. So across all the countries, this is the way we are going to build the seed system and ensure that these farmers, seed entrepreneurs will be linked to processing companies. And we are doing this also in partnership with a project funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, BASICS in Nigeria and Best Cassava in Tanzania. And we believe we can take the model of these two projects across all the countries where we're trying to build the seed system and increase the number of entrepreneurs that will be involved in cassava seed production. Thank you very much.
Irene, can you please take on the capacity development question, looking at the digitalization and the issues that the questioner asked? Briefly, please.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much. This is about strengthening the end users. And we have done so through a number of ways. First of all, the innovation platforms itself tries to mobilize all the actors, including the end users. We have, through working with Access Agriculture, provided some partner videos on best practice that needs to be shared with the end users. And we're working a lot on the exchange of these videos. We are also working to develop micro projectors for the NAS as part of such videos. As I mentioned, we've developed a number of outreach materials that will be made available for local use. And during our webinar series during this COVID period, we have engaged a lot with farmers and end users and brought them face to face with the technologies that are being put forward by the compacts. So we're using a multiplicity of ways of reaching the end users with the technologies and strengthening them to access and utilize them.
Thank you very much. The question to the keynote presenters. Martin, could you take a shot at it first, and then maybe Innocent? Let's make it brief so that the three of you can give brief comments.
Yes, thank you very much. On the theory of change, I think the first thing is you have to create a vision, right? And that has done. You have to be very clear objectives. We had 40 million farmers. Then you also have to assess the gaps. We'll find out that the biggest weakness in the seed systems in Africa is lack of very strong seed laws, and also lack of capacity in the seed sector. And also, we also notice that there's an unwillingness to take on risk by seeds companies. And then, of course, based upon that, you now prepare a plan. Then the next thing, of course, are the activities. You have to create partnerships. You have to create conditions for scaling. And so the theory of change is you must create partnerships. You must build capacity of the seed companies, and also you must mobilize resources, perhaps the most important. So we have mobilized resources, and that is why Innocent Musa Imana has come on board to help to work with the countries to make sure they can mobilize resources for the for the desired change. And then, of course, once you have done that, you've created a clear objectives, you have your activities, then the outcomes, and making sure that you sustain the outcomes, and that you can do by carefully measuring what you're doing, and also making sure that your partners are fully engaged. Also, you have to link to the market, because there's no way you will have farmers adopt seeds, increase their yields when there's really no market. So you have to also look at the policy about the output markets. Thank you.
Ken, could you give us your own 1 minute perspective on that? Ken. Innocent, if you're ready,
I'm ready, Chris. Yeah.
Okay, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Martin has done a great job. I'll just add a few more perspectives. One is to increase the food basket, to transform agriculture. It's not 1 or 2 commodities. TAAT has picked 9 to start with, and we're expanding more than that. We also have to have the best technologies in the hands of farmers. And to do that, we've selected the best institutions in Africa who know exactly what these best technologies are and how to extend them. 3, we need to create the enabling environment. That's like policy, irrigation, soils, and fertilizers, etc. And that's why we have the enablers. And again, we selected the key institutions that are leading these areas in Africa to take it forward. And just as Martin said, all this information is good, but it's used as a catalyst to demonstrate to countries and to private sector to really scale it up. Thank you, Chris, for giving me a chance to speak on that.
I think that has said it all. Innocent will get it in the next round. Sometime, let's quickly go through the next set of questions. Sabra, can you read out the next set of 3 questions, please?
Yes, we have 2 questions here, and the first question will start to Innocent, and then if we can have Zeudi and Abbas answer it in 1 minute. How is TAAT incentivizing private sector? There are many questions on the private sector, but this one has come out very strong. So how has TAAT incentivized the private sector for the scaling of technologies? That's the first question. The second question is how is TAAT incorporating food safety components in the technologies? And the question was posed to maize, sorghum, and millet and wheat. But since we have Zeudi here representing wheat, if he could answer that question, please.
Thank you very much. Innocent, please, very brief. We are a little bit stretching the time, but we are still okay. Briefly.
Thank you very much, moderator. A quick one, maybe if you allow, just add one small thing on the previous question, what was regarding to take this scale, and especially as we engage countries. And as rightly said by Martin, and within the clearinghouse, the TAAT clearinghouse, for the last 2 years, we have built capacity, experience as we move forward for the next step, especially working together with the compact as we help countries while designing these development loans that are programs that help countries to address this issue of low productivity of crops, livestock, and aquaculture. So we have this capacity to work with countries to help them to design this program so that you can take this technology to the scale and bringing other technology. This was a catalytic fund from the FDB and the support from the MGF as we proven that this model is working. So moving forward, ready to go, using the experience and help countries to design this program that are accommodating all these technologies. So when it comes to incentivizing private sector, so we are working closely, as my colleagues have already said, being Abbas, for example, let's say pick one technology of mobile cassava processing unit that is proven to be working and addressing this issue of food safety, post-harvest losses, but that can be run by private sector because it's cost effectiveness that we have made a business model around that. That is very clear that for private sector to invest it, they will make a profit as we design the technology, but also make a business model as we analyze the cost benefit analysis of that. That is one. And when it comes to this private sector, especially the seed companies, so it is very clear if you work with seed company with new varieties, it is a new market. So by creating this demand, especially awareness for farmers through field days, through demonstration, but that led by the seed companies, they are very clear for them that by creating this demand, this now is source of income, it's just benefit for farmers, but also for companies, private sector, that they can make profit of this technology already developed. So that's a quick one, I should say, as we work with the private sector. But of course, we need to work with government as setting up a conducive environment that will create this incentive, for example, access to loan, to credit, and export facilities that will help them to get more incentive and invest in these technologies as we do scaling up on the continent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nelson, food safety. Is it Abbas or Zaudi? Either of you, one of you, please. Can you touch on that? Zaudi, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, wheat production or whatever, the wheat compact, it's not about only production. It's about all the way from production to post-harvest management so that the quality could be maintained. So in the packages, the Agric packages will really ensure that all the processes from production all the way to post-harvest handling and management activities are properly handled. The technologies which are there would be used to ensure that food safety is not an issue. So in wheat, I mean, it's much less as compared to maybe other crops. So in every compact, I mean, these are the things which need to be done to ensure that it's not only about production, but the whole process of harvesting, post-harvest management, and the processing would be done in a proper way so that the food safety should not be an issue along the line.
Thank you very much, Zaudi. It looks like we have a lot of contributions in the forms of questions and comments from many of you. We really appreciate those who posted these questions. We shall unfortunately not be able to go through all the questions because of the time that we have. But I want to assure you that answers will be provided to all the questions on the platform or on the TAAT website. We invite you to visit the website, TAAT-africa.org. TAAT-africa.org. We'll make sure that we'll capture all the comments and all the questions, paste them on that website, and provide answers. When you visit the website, you also have the opportunity to request and be linked to any community specialist to follow up on any particular thing that may be of interest to you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to thank the presenters, the panelists, and to you, the great audience, for the wonderful session. It's been a real pleasure serving you as your moderator. Yes, we have the task of sharing how technologies are contributing to feeding our cities. I believe we are trying to show you just how we are doing this through the TAAT program, increasing the productivity of some of the target community value chains and transforming them so that they are available in markets to feed the city populations. I would now like to call on Dr. Kenton Dashil, the DDG and the head of the TAAT program team at IITA, to make some closing remarks. Ken, over to you, please.
Thank you very, very much, Chris. We appreciate your moderation skills, your facilitation skills kept us moving forward very well during this hour-and-a-half time. Greatly appreciated. Chris, you've already thanked almost everybody, but I want us to remember the key donors for TAAT, the African Development Bank, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is also supporting. I want to thank AGRA and AGRF because they've really backstopped us so well to prepare for this event and to actually help us make sure it was pulled off in a successful way. We know that TAAT is one program that is helping to transform African agriculture, but it's not the only program. We know there are hundreds of very, very good programs throughout the continent that are doing things similar to TAAT. And I want to appeal to all of those programs working in the delivery, the dissemination, the scaling of technologies for agriculture in Africa. I want to encourage all of you to reach out to TAAT. We would like to have you as one of our partners. We would like to have you to exchange ideas with, like we've been doing today. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've really enjoyed the last hour-and-a-half. I hope you have also enjoyed it. As Chris has said, please visit our TAAT website. We're going to make sure we answer all the questions that have come in. We want all of you to feel like you are part of the TAAT family, and we look forward to interacting more and more with you over the next 3 or 4 years. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our
just a second, Ken. Sorry.
Yes.
We still have a minute, Dr. Fregene. I will not let you off the hook.
Good.
I would like to hear from you. Your own last word, please.
I think Ken has said it all. I don't really need to say anything again. But just to thank our able moderator for a job well done, and also the people behind the scene, to thank Sabra Lewis and also Atai and many others, and also Innocence, for putting this together, and also AGRF for hosting us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, and we'll be cut off any second from now. You've done very well, and I really appreciate it. Thank you all for being with us. Let's meet another time, or let's meet on the website. Thank you, and goodbye.